A university study found that mothers of autistic children have stress levels comparable to combat soldiers. Let me say that again. The University of Wisconsin-Madison 2009 study, what they actually measured was cortisol, the stress hormone, tracked daily. So a study was carried out in 2009 on mothers who have autistic children, and it has been found that the cortisol levels is comparable rather to those of combat soldiers, the soldiers on the front line, soldiers in military, soldiers at war. So just imagine the amount of pressure soldiers have to go through is being comparable to raising autistic children. It's being comparable to taking care of our autistic children, dealing with all the challenges that we deal with, dealing with the sleepless nights, the health issues, the constant phone calls from school, the constant health visits to the doctors, to the hospitals, clinics, the constant, trying to adjust to the behavior, to manage the behavior, to manage the child's regulation, and so much more, always being on guard, never really resting, even when you are resting and you're not really resting. When you sleep, your cortisol levels are so high that sometimes you just feel overwhelmed, you feel tired. Even when you are resting, you still feel really, really drained. And that is the very reason why it's very important for the parents of autistic children to regulate the nervous system, to find a way to manage those emotions, those stress levels, to regulate themselves in a healthy way, to avoid further complications in their health, to avoid really breaking down. And it happens in many cases. A lot of parents end up breaking down, becoming overwhelmed, or even having even more serious health complications and ending up maybe in hospital or even worse. So a lot of parents now are seen as if they're overreacting. From people who don't understand, they never really take this seriously. They take these things for granted. They take it as if these parents sometimes are just making things up, or are exaggerating or overreacting, or different opinions from people, unsolicited advice. And unfortunately, a lot of parents end up, because sometimes they don't have words for this, they don't really know why they're feeling the way they're feeling. They haven't had someone to actually highlight these complications, these issues. So these are words, these are studies that can actually show the facts, and what's actually happening is you are dysregulated. And it's not only the child who gets dysregulated, you as the parent can get dysregulated as well, which is the reason why I created this platform. And I said that we are taking the family first approach, where we recognize not just the needs of the child on the autism spectrum, but the family or the support system around that child, who also need their regulation. They also need a calm nervous system to be able to take care of this the needs of the child. So with that being said, there is a full page on our site explaining this research. Oh yes, if you go to the Autism Awareness Zimbabwe website and link in the comments, I'll put a link in the comments. Read it, send it to anyone who you feel may need to have this knowledge, because knowledge is power. And I find it very, very empowering when people know the facts, and that way they will stop passing unsolicited advice and unfair criticism towards especially parents who are actually raising and dealing with these challenges on a daily basis. Thank you for listening.